Hello and welcome to the FPL Road to Glory. I am Sam and this is the Premier Cheese channel. If you like the content you're seeing and want to subscribe, that will do us a lot of help. The boys would really enjoy that. And Ellis will add you on Facebook, which I think is a great recommendation for it. He'll add you on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and you get exclusive access to Jack's OnlyFans if you don't subscribe. Right, boys, it's been another good week of FPL, and without further ado, again, another further ado, we go on to Winner of the Week. Ellis has won again under very depressing circumstances. He won with this team. Ellis, do you want to run us through how he won this week? Who were your key performers?
Well, it was Liverpool's defence and West Ham's attack, basically. It's what
good.
Yeah, Simicast for 4 million, still a good signing. He got an assist, right? I think, and they got a clean sheet as well, so that really helped.
Yeah,
got the bonus points too.
I always get with FPL that when you look at the points, it doesn't look as many points as there are actually that you've got, because it doesn't look like 75. But it doesn't look like all that adds up to 75, but it does. Great analysis.
I think it's only 2 players. Was it only 3 players got base points? They blanked on it, didn't get any contributions to anything. So obviously Fernandez got a yellow card, so only got 1 point. Tony didn't score, and Barnes didn't do anything. But apart from that, every other player either scored, assisted, got a clean sheet. So yeah, it's good return for week 2. I'm happy with my current lead.
Antonio is the bane of my life. I wanted to get him in, but I can't get rid of Jimenez because he's my boy, and also Wolves have scored 4 against Nottingham Forest, so we've got to smash the team sometime.
Yeah, you scored
Jimenez
4
is getting a
against
hat trick.
Forest, but you've also lost 1-0 twice in a row and scored.
Outperformed both those teams on XG. So
yeah, but you don't get points for XG.
It was fantastic.
I know, but it means it's eventually going to come.
42 goal attempts over those 2 games, 42 goal attempts. And then you lost both of those games.
Wolves. I think it was Wolves had 47 shots. No, 57 shots without scoring, and then scored with their 58th, 59th, 60th, and 61st shots for the season. So that's clinical. From that point on, it's going to be clinical, boys.
They're like bosses.
Okay. Anyway, Jack, do you have anything to say about this team?
I'm just a bit gutted that I didn't have Antonio. It's a bit, what can you do? I had Tony as well. He didn't really do much. I had Simicast. I had Salah, who blanked, unfortunately. I wish I'd captained anyone else really in my team. That's fair play. What can you do?
Jack,
what can you do?
Ellis. Before we go on to game week transfers in, the most transferred in teams, have you changed this team?
I have taken out Harvey Barnes and whacked in Said Benrahma.
Okay.
So I've tripled up on West Ham players.
Okay, that's decent. West Ham are doing really good at the moment. Obviously, they smashed Leicester.
I've also brought in Benrahma.
Oh.
In fact, this week I've taken a -4. It's just and originally I didn't bring in Benrahma, but I've taken the -4 to bring in Benrahma.
Wait, so you say you had 2 free transfers, made them both, and then changed your mind and bought Benrahma for -4?
No. I didn't have. I only had 1 free transfer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, because you used it the other week. Okay.
I brought in Region, and then I've also brought in Benrahma.
Cool. Well, talking about transfers, let's see the most transferred in of the week. No, let's not see that. Wait.
Let's see something else.
Let's see the big points totals of the week. Well, these are the big performers of the week. I've seen a few of Ellis's players in there, which is why he did so well this week. But is anyone you're surprised by, Ellis, who's in there?
Me?
Yeah.
Duffy, I guess. I hadn't really noted.
He scored, didn't he?
Yeah, no, Brighton's really good. So he got a clean sheet as well, I guess. James with 18 points. Did he get an assist as well as his goal when he got a clean sheet?
He assisted Lukaku's, and I think he assisted Lukaku's.
Yeah, so it's a lot of defenders in the top. Well, geez, like what? 5 of the top 6 are defenders this week. We only won
It's that
on
bonus
strike
for
as well.
scoring. That it's just 6 points for scoring instead of the 4, just makes the world of difference. Especially when I don't think there's a lot of players who have scored braces or hat tricks this game week. I think it's all been just singular goals. So if a defender does score, he's just going to end up being there, especially if he has a clean sheet to boot. I was very surprised Mings is there. I didn't even realise that he got like 2 assists.
Yeah, well, he won the penalty for Villa.
He
Which
won
I guess
the penalty.
he sort of headed it.
Was it from a corner?
The Seltan balled it.
Okay.
So I guess that counts as an assist somehow. It doesn't. I mean, it's not, is it, in real life? But
to be fair, he also got the assist for the first goal as well.
Yeah, he knocked it down to Danny Ings, who did an amazing overhead kick.
So he got 2 assists and a clean sheet as a centre back, which is quite impressive, really.
It really is, to be fair.
Jack, is there anyone there you're considering? We obviously already know your transfers you brought in, but is there anyone you want to take a look at for the next few weeks to see if they actually perform consistently?
Damari Gray. In fact, I think I have brought him in a draft that I'm involved with, and to be honest, I'm quite tempted to see if I can squeeze him into my team purely because he's dirt cheap and he seems to be. They seem to be letting him have a lot of freedom on that right wing, letting him run at wing backs, and I mean he's already got, is it 2 assists or just 1 assist?
If it's 2 assists,
He scored against Leeds.
He scored against Leeds, so he must only be the
he did
goal.
Against Leeds, yeah. So I'm very curious to see, because I think the reason Everton have had such a quiet transfer window is because they're being restricted by FPL rules, FFP rules.
FPL rules. They've only got 100 million to get their squad in.
Yeah.
We've already got 12 Everton players. We can only have 3 in a team.
Because I think they want. Because I think I was reading an article today saying they wanted to sign Neil Maupay, but they can't because of FFP rules.
I mean, that's
so
quite a good save for them.
And that's why they've gone for cheap / free players. And to be fair, they're giving him a lot of freedom to kind of do his own thing.
I was surprised that he's been starting. To be honest, I wasn't expecting that. Like, because he's quite a cheap player and he's got a good return so far. I'm quite surprised.
I don't think they've got depth in winger departments. They obviously brought in Townsend as well. Have they lost Walcott? I just think
Walcott's gone. I think
for winger positions, which maybe Rafa Benitez does want to play, they don't have depth there.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprised by Lloris as well. Did he get? I assume he saved a penalty or something like that, or maybe got an assist through a through ball, or not a through ball, a long ball over.
It was the Wolves game, right? So Wolves had loads and loads of shots. He must have just made loads of saves.
Right. Christ, did he? He must have got the bonus points as well. He must have got like.
Yeah, I reckon he got bonus points and
that makes sense.
Save points and a clean sheet.
And a clean sheet. That makes sense. That does make sense. Right. Okay. So now we will move on to the transfers, and I can tell you, given we know yours, what I have done. Right, boys. As obviously you two are the most basic people in the world, but we're working for both of you at the moment over me. Ben Rama, the most transferred in person. Why do you think so many people have transferred in, despite the fact the obvious answer is he's cheap and getting points?
That is the actual answer, though. Like, you can't say that's like any other reason. That's literally it. Like, I saw him. I used to take Barnes out because he wasn't given the returns, and then he's got a goal and about three assists, I think maybe, in the first 2 games. West Ham are in form. They've scored 8 goals in 2 games. They've only conceded, was it 2 or 3? They're looking good going forward, and Ben Rama's one of their key people along with Antonio.
Good fixtures next as well. Palace, Southampton, which is actually like looking good for him. I'll go Antonio as well. Obviously, the same method. He's quite cheap for a striker, and then obviously still banging in goals. And most of this is just the same as the people who've got the most points. Tomiskas is still popular because he's obviously cheap away into that Liverpool defence. I will say that one of mine is here. And I don't know if another one is. Would you like to have a guess at who I've transferred in and out?
I think you've bought in Greenwood.
Okay.
And I think you might have reluctantly bought in Ings because you don't want a Villa player.
No, I did have it. I already had Ings, mate.
Oh, did you already have
Ings? You were very close in that I took Ings out.
Did you?
I took Ings and Sancho out. Sancho, I don't know if he's going to start anymore. just for that Greenwood's, at least for the short term, because Greenwood's in such good form and they both play on that right thing. So I don't really want to take any more risks when it's especially 9 million. So I took Sancho out for Canos from Brentford.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Cheap
cheeky.
attacking return. Ben Rama might have been a better one, but I literally had no money, so I didn't even have the money for Ben Rama. I think it's like 6.5, isn't he?
6.2, I think it's gone up to. That's like he's informed, so he's got a 0.2 price upgrade already.
And then that was to make money for Ings for Lukaku. I think Lukaku's going to smash. Looking at him against Arsenal, he just looks like he's going to be top scorer. He's going to get so many goals. He just bullied that entire Arsenal defence. Obviously, Arsenal aren't having the greatest time at the moment. Beat West Brom.
That's fair, that Arsenal defence, the two centre-backs he bullies, Pablo Murray and Rob Holding, so it maybe not the best barometer of
I know, but it still looks good. He still looks good value, and obviously that's going to breed confidence. So I think he's a shoo-in for top scorer this season, especially when Kane hasn't started yet, so he hasn't been consistent with games at this moment, so he's going to have a head start. Lukaku's going to have a head start in that regard, and I don't think any other strikers really are going to match him in that regard. I think it's just going to be like 25, 20 goals. Something like that.
He might make his way into my team at some point later in the season, I think, if he starts getting the returns. I'm amazed that 45,000 people have taken him out of their teams. Like, who are they?
I know. I think especially when you're talking about big transfers, like with like huge funds, they take huge funds. People want to reorganize their team. Maybe they want to take 11, 12 million player out and then put in some like 8s and some 7 million players. You don't really know, but I think circulation for higher quality players, like valuable players who cost a lot to bring in, do circulate quite a bit because people try and shove around their teams quite a bit, especially if you're playing wild cards. Jack, do you have anything to say on any of these players?
I think it is worth noting that as much as you say that Kane has not played for Spurs yet, now said that he's going to stay, which for fantasy players means that he enters the equation again, and as the time of recording, Spurs are playing Pacos de Ferreira. Spurs, Kane has scored twice now, and they're 2-0 up. So he seems to have found his shooting boots. So I'm not sure he'll play for them at the weekend if he is playing for them in the week.
Yeah.
But I reckon he probably will be in their starting 11 soon. So I think that's probably something to consider when Spurs have a run of kind fixtures that's to bring him in, maybe a possibility for those who don't have Lukaku, because I think having Lukaku and Kane is going to be near impossible.
Yeah, but since that's it's not a given that he's going to start consistently yet. We don't know he's going to be a shoe-in every week. He might still be brought in gradually by Nuno instead of this, because they've been fine. They've won 2 games. Obviously, they haven't scored that many. I think they've both been 1-0, or is it the other game been a bit
1-0
different?
against City,
1-0 Man City and 1-0 against Wolves. So they're not in trouble at the moment. They still can score a goal and maybe shut people off. Obviously, I think the Wolves game and probably the Man City game as well, I didn't actually watch it that in detail. They were up against it and they should have arguably conceded. I think both Man City and Wolves did dominate them after the goal, but obviously they can shut up shop, which is not Nuno's good enough at. So I think maybe... I still don't think for the 30 million he's going to be, I don't think it's worth... unless he's guaranteed to start.
I just checked. He started at 12.5 million. He's now down to 12.3. So if you are going to get Kane in your team, might not be a bad time to get him to save that 0.2 million that you can, I guess, spend elsewhere.
Anyway, talking.
In fact, I'm actually going to go down further. I reckon he'll go down to like 12.2, 12.1.
Well, hopefully, then we can think about bringing him in. But I'm sticking to my Lukaku as my big name striker of the thing.
Well, I mean, he's scoring goals right now, so that does make sense.
Right, so let's move on to game week transfers out. Okay, moving on to the game week transfers out. Is anyone surprised by Tony not being there? Even though he is cheap, he still hasn't contributed necessarily in those first 2 games for Brentford. Do you think he's worth holding for a bit, or do you think he's probably right to get everyone to get rid of him?
I think that for the price that you get, there's no other that I can think of player that with the same price that is as good as him. I guess you go for a really cheap striker and just whack him on your bench, and go for like 5 midfield or 4 at the back, something like that. But yeah, I don't know. He's gonna score goals at some point. Brentford have got Villa this weekend, and from being a Villa fan and playing Brentford a lot in the Championship, I don't think we've beaten them ever. So he's more than likely to get a goal this weekend. So I would recommend keeping him in your team from a Villa insider. But yeah, I guess he's not really given back. If people are trying to make space for Lukaku, might be one of those ones that...
I don't know if you can make space for him, because if you're making space, then you've got to bring in a player who's cheaper than the 6.5 billion Tony is. So I don't think you're making that much unless you're somehow bringing in a striker who's like 4 or 5 million who's not even starting. So I don't think there's that much money you can save from bringing him in, bringing another player in who's under Tony's valuation, because there aren't many, and I don't think there are many that are guaranteed starts every season.
True. Well, I guess if people might be getting rid of him for like putting Ings or someone in instead, or Antonio, the two sort of informed strikers at the moment.
Yeah. I think, Jack, are you surprised by anyone on this list?
Salah, maybe. I think because he's had one blank week, he's been transferred out by 166,000 people. I think it's a bit wild. But then again, I think that might be the case of people who are kind of put all their eggs in the Salah basket and are now trying to spread out the responsibility of points earning.
I think it's quite funny that it's the people taking Salah out to get Lukaku in the team, because they're about the same price.
And I think you'll find this the entire time, that there'll be the big money signings always have big circulation, because people just try to organise their team, and the best players to bring out to organise your team again is the big ones, so you have a lot of money to play with. So I don't think that's necessarily a surprise. I think we'll just find this all season that Salah will just be in there if he doesn't do well one week.
Do Man United have some particularly difficult fixtures? Because seeing Luke Shaw, who's probably their best defensive player to have, being transferred out by 199,000 is a bit wild as well.
I know they play us next, so they're playing Wolves next, and obviously Wolves are quite free scoring at the moment from Nottingham Forest. Obviously, but we scored 4 against Nottingham Forest. Obviously, we didn't in the league.
Cup.
Yes, it's still 4 goals, man.
Well, their next 4 fixtures, only one of them are red. They've got EU away, they've got Newcastle at home, they've got West Ham away, then they've got Villa at home. And then they have Everton
they're
at
decent
home.
fixtures, I think.
Yeah. I can see a clean sheet or two there.
Is Shaw starting? Is that just the issue that he isn't starting?
No, he's been starting.
Yeah, it's because they conceded goals. I just think, and actually after their fixtures aren't as good as you would suggest. I think they've got a lot of difficult fixtures after those, and I think it's not necessarily a great run. I think when a lot of people look at it, they look for literally the colours, because you have a lot of people in FPL who are like very reactionary, especially in the first few weeks, where they're just people who don't usually play it and have just gotten into it. And I think they look at the fixture thing where there's a lot of red. Like they put West Ham as red, they put Everton as red. As danger fixtures, but they're not really, but then that could influence it. But then they got a run of green after that, so it's like, yeah.
In the Premier League, every fixture is dangerous.
Yeah, but then I think it's because Man United have at least conceded 1 each time, so he hasn't done anything. I think he got an assist against Southampton, but then no defensive returns, no nothing. So I think maybe they're losing faith with him there, and maybe they're just cheaper options in defence. Like I imagine Shaw would have come out a lot for Tsimikas.
He's also been taken out a lot.
Yeah, he's also been taken out a lot, probably because people are shifting around, and obviously wild cards are being used because people always reject their team. But yeah, I think it's fine. Does anyone else have anything to say about this list before we sign off?
No.
No, I think I'm happy with that. Richarlison's a bit of a wild one as well, because he I'm guessing a lot of people saw him at the Olympics. Free scoring. He's been linked to the move to Real Madrid and PSG over the summer, which is just wild in itself. And thinking, he's going to come back and be their starting striker and score lots of goals and obviously Everton have had a bit of a kind of... Well, obviously they had Southampton week 1, and Southampton are probably going to be a quite poor team this season. But 77,000 people have also brought him in, which is just what I don't understand. This
again, it's crazy season with this, because a lot of wild cards are being played and people have no idea what's going on. Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of that this for the next few weeks, and when it starts to die down, when everyone gets consistent people who can get consistent points, we'll see less of this, but it's just a lot of silly season at the moment. Yeah, sorted. Well, cheers for being here, boys. Thank you for watching the FPL show. If you liked the content, there'll be more coming. We hopefully record every week, and there'll be episode out Friday morning, midday. Well, Friday afternoon, midday. Depends when you count midday is. But yeah, look out for those every week, and we'll see you next time.